Hey everyone! I waited a few days to talk to you about the All-Star Game. After following several competitions for 3 days, I want to discuss a bit about the game itself and this 2024 All-Star Game. I saw some people defending it, saying that the All-Star Game was a great event. At the beginning of the games, the players were motivated, playing, defending, attacking. It seemed like a cool game. However, the game had 397 points. Guys, how can a basketball game be competitive when it reaches more than 100 points halfway through the game? There's no competition in that. The idea of bringing together the best players in the world on the same court to play basketball while they don't care at all about defense simply doesn't make sense and isn't cool, you know? It's not fun. It doesn't fulfill the original purpose of the All-Star Game. But let's analyze day by day. First, when they started the event with the Celebrity Game, the introduction of the LED court was pretty cool. For those who remember, a few months ago, I made a video about technologies that could possibly arrive in the NBA on my other channel. And guys, I even commented, this court would be really cool, the same one used in the All-Star Game. It was already used in the Black Mamba House, a Nike event with Kobe Bryant. Before that, it was used in a FIBA championship, a women's championship. I said at the time that this court would be perfect for the All-Star Game. And there it is, like a crystal ball, predicting the future, which I don't have. I found it quite interesting, really cool. The Celebrity Game even had more defense than the All-Star Game, but let's get there. Then we had the Rookie Game, which was also pretty cool, but it seems like they're already starting with the same mentality as the veterans in the All-Star Game, you know? As if they were already stars and didn't need to try so hard, right? Like, I'm not going to get injured here, right? And then, Matas Buzelis, without caring much, made a game winner. Our friend Benedict Mathurin also played well, scored 18 points in his first game. The Rising Stars was even a bit fun. There were some cool plays, but for sure this format was more interesting because there was more competitiveness. The rookies played a little more seriously than the veterans. But this specific format, 3 games, 2 of 40 points and 1 of 25 in the final, which is like a semi-final and final that they did in the Rookie Challenge, man, I'm not really into it, you know? There's no time for cool things to happen. It doesn't create a rivalry within the game. The guys can hardly do anything very interesting because it's practically 1 quarter played to have the 2 semi-final games of the rookies, and then 1 quarter being the final. I think the NBA is trying to bring a bit of that G League Ignite style, that NBA team. Just think about it. The G League Ignite was an experiment that went wrong. Seriously. This NBA G League team is not working properly. I understand the development league, but the G League Ignite is something that needs to be discussed in another video. Detlef's team, which was from the D League Ignite, had 4 players and the 5th couldn't play because he was injured, right? That's Ron Holland. We would have liked to see one of these prospects, like Ron Holland, playing in the Rising Stars to check out his talent. But he was injured and couldn't play. Anyway, I found it cool. Let's go to the second day on Saturday with the Skills Challenge, where we saw the lack of willingness of the first-pick team. The only one who was trying harder was Victor Wembanyama. The other 2 guys didn't care at all. Our friend Anthony Edwards was even shooting with his left hand. He said he would only use his left hand this weekend. Man, he's a character, right? And Paolo Banchero was also there. Seemed like he wanted to be, but he wasn't. I'm participating. I'm here. My thing is just to participate in the All-Star Game. Then there's going to be a bonus in my contract. The guy was kind of distracted, you know? Anyway, and who tried a little harder, took the Skills Challenge seriously, was the Indiana Pacers. Our friend Tyrese Halliburton wanted to honor being the Indiana All-Star and won there. You could see they were focused, concentrated, you know? The other guys were totally scattered. What happened? Tyrese Maxey missed the path, you know? So, then we went to the 3-point challenge. The 3-point challenge had some things kind of off. Some rules were violated and could have totally changed the outcome of this 3-point challenge. But let's leave that for another video. We had the dunk contest, where it seems they put 5 judges who were blindfolded. And now I'm going to talk about the All-Star Game. Man, a game that ends with 397 points doesn't make sense to have been even minimally competitive. And I'll tell you why. In the whole game, there were only 3 fouls. How is it possible that someone who considers themselves one of the best players in the league, who is defending another one of the best players in the league, goes 48 minutes and commits only 3 fouls? How? Let me tell you the reality. This is impossible, my friend. Another interesting factor is that this was the All-Star Game with the most 3-point attempts. There were 71 attempts by the West team and 97 attempts by the East team. Guys, give me a second of your attention. If you're enjoying this video, consider subscribing down below. It really helps our work. And if you turn on the notification bell, you'll receive even more videos like this one. If you give it a like, you'll be strengthening it even more, because the video will be recommended to more people who enjoy this type of content, just like you. So now, let's continue with the video. Guys, the players attempted 168 three-pointers. 168 three-point attempts. I completely understand someone saying, no, they slowed down to avoid injuries. This game means nothing. How does it mean nothing? They receive a salary bonus for participating in the All-Star game. How does this game mean nothing? Maybe this game doesn't have value in the context of the championship, and perhaps that's something that is missing to make it more competitive. I think in recent years, the only one where we saw a little more competition was in 2020. I remember a play by Giannis jumping to save the ball from going out, you know? The one-on-one duels were being contested. The players were taking it seriously. The end of the game was competitive. Everyone was really trying to win the game. And when they realize it's to avoid injuries, the players slowed down. After all, they are professionals. But now it's not like that anymore. It's not like, let's slow down a bit, but keep playing and defending. Man, what's the point of having a special day for this then? That's why the audience for these games is getting smaller and smaller. My friend, who is an editor here on the channel, when I told him, let's watch the All-Star game, he sent me a message the next day. Man, I was sleeping. The All-Star game doesn't even excite me anymore to watch. Why does no one watch the All-Star game anymore? I watched it because I need to create content. But man, it's strange. The only one who was really trying there was Karl Anthony Towns. He scored 50 points. It literally looked like they gave the ball to a kid in the playground and said, go there and play. And he was playing seriously. The rest were just fooling around. And fooling around, like LeBron's team, which is the West. They didn't even care to pass, hardly scored. The West team opened almost 30 points. And Damian Lillard was just shooting threes. He attempted 23 three-pointers, made 11, finished with 39 points, and won the MVP award, you know? So man, I don't know how they could adjust this. I saw some discussions about it in a Reddit community. I've been reading some suggestions in a community, like giving an extra win to the winning team of the All-Star game. This could increase competitiveness among players to secure a spot in the All-Star game and also make the game itself more contested. The idea of distributing 15 wins to the teams seems a bit excessive for a single night, but it was a valid suggestion. Another idea discussed was holding one-on-one tournaments. Imagine putting players like Kevin Durant and LeBron James against each other. It would certainly bring more competitiveness to the event. I also suggested that the winning team receive the advantage of playing the NBA Finals at home, which could be decisive for the outcome of the finals. Financial compensations may not be as attractive to players, as the real incentive for them is competing for NBA and Cup trophies. An interesting suggestion was to promote a clash between Team World and Team USA, similar to what happens in the Rising Stars. This could tap into the national pride of the United States and bring a different dynamic to the game. I also mentioned that I like the draft format, but I prefer the last-to-last format, which maintains the rivalry between the two conferences. The showdown between the United States and the world could be a way to test that rivalry in a different context. Overall, although I had fun watching the All-Star game with friends, I believe some changes are necessary to make the event more competitive and interesting. I'm open to more suggestions and promise to consider them for future videos. Until then, I look forward to seeing your comments on what could be done to improve the All-Star game. Until the next video.